Hey, what's going on everybody? My name's Chris. Welcome to my channel. This is part 2 of my carved mandolin build. What we did in the last video was we got the rim set made, the head block and tail block. We got the sides bent and joined up with blocks, and it's in the mold. So what you just saw me doing was thicknessing some old guitar brace wood, because I'm going to be making my own kerfed linings for the mandolin instead of having to buy them pre-made from somebody. So what I did to do that was make a jig, okay? So let me explain the jig real quick. I saw this in a YouTube video. I can't remember who did it, or I would give them credit. I just saw it, thought it seemed easy enough to make. And just on one side of the jig, it doesn't really matter where, I just made sure it was kind of somewhere in the solid part of the jig. I put 2 kerfs with the blade of the bandsaw. I'll put 1 kerf to inset the bandsaw blade into, and I'll put another kerf into which I inset some feeler gauges, and they're protruding out of the front about 4.5 millimeters. Now I'm making 6 millimeter thick kerfing, so I only want about 5.5 millimeters of my blade protruding out of the front. So you can see how I have it set up. I've got the blade all the way inside this kerf with only about 5 millimeters showing through the front. I've got a clamp clamping it down, and I've got this piece clamped to the back of the table so that I don't push it, away over time and make that kerf deeper. Well, there's the first attempt. I think it came out pretty good. It's perfectly floppy. I think it's going to work just fine. And one thing to point out is this is how the original piece of wood looked. So because of the way the grain was running, I had to slice it into 4 individual pieces and then run each piece through the blade. Had the grain been oriented the other way, I could have only done 1 pass. For example, imagine these are the kerfs. I could have done 1 pass through the blade and then sliced all those out. It would have been much easier and saved a lot more time. But anyway, it's not how it was. That's why, in case you're questioning, that's why I did 4 separate pieces, 1 at a time. There you go, not too shabby. I can say that it was not as difficult as I thought it would be to make my own kerf linings. I've seen people do it and I've wanted to try it. I didn't have any kerf linings on hand purchased, so I went ahead and tried to make my own. And it wasn't that hard. It was actually quite easy. Just making the jig took longer. But check this out. In addition to the one I'm working on now, I've got another one, an A-style carved mandolin. This one's with sapele side, so I got to find a sapele, thick sapele back to carve for that one. And I'm also going to be making a flat top mandolin. So I made a new mold this week. I've got actually the materials I need to make a flat top mandolin. It's not carved and it probably won't take as long. And I'm probably going to make a video series out of this one. So hit subscribe if you want to follow along with that. I've also got my 3rd guitar that I'm finishing up, and I've already started my 4th guitar. They're in the other room. I think maybe I'm doing too much at once, but what can I say? Lutherie has drawn me in, and I just want to try all the stuff, okay? Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and stick around for the rest of the other builds that I talked about. And for this one, I'm just rambling now, so I'm just going to cut it off here.